All right, I think we're live. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. Welcome. We're going to just give it a minute to let everyone log in and get settled before we kick things off. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. All right, so for those who don't know me, hi, I'm Benjamin. I'm part of the marketing team at iExec. I'm joined today with two incredible guests. Hi, guys. How you guys doing?
Hey, Benjamin. Nice, and you?
Good, doing good. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves. Maybe Chase, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me today, Benjamin. I'm Chase. I lead AI and infrastructure partnerships at Off-Chain Labs. We are the core developers of the Arbitrum tech stack, and we also do some other businesses. Have some other businesses on Ethereum, including the Prism, including building the Prism consensus client and working on the Zero Dev smart accounts product.
Awesome. Nathan?
Yeah, so good to see you, everyone. So I'm Nathan, Chief Ecosystem and Revenue Officer at iExec. And basically, iExec it's an infrastructure project that is building privacy tools since years. And we basically bring trusted off-chain computing and confidential data processing to Web3 using trusted execution environments, OTs. And yeah, really happy to be with you today. And basically, because yesterday we done something which is pretty big. iExec is now live on Arbitrum, so easy and usable at scale.
Yep. So exactly. So super exciting times. And so today is the great follow-up to yesterday's announcements. And I can't imagine two better people to discuss all this with you guys. So before we go into what all this implies in terms of both ecosystems and opportunities for builders, maybe we just take it a step back. We've been on this over the many weeks before this, but maybe this first question will be for you, Nathan. What motivated iExec to bring its ecosystem to Arbitrum, and how does that kind of align with the iExec's broader mission?
Yeah, so the iExec mission basically is to protect and valorize the digital assets of individuals and company. So, for example, every day we give away our most valuable asset, which is data. And iExec is helping users and individuals and company to basically own it, control it, but also monetize it. So Arbitrum for us is the perfect place to do this because one point, most of our builders are already launched there. Pretty incredible builder, but I think we'll discuss that later. And it's one of the most active protocol as well with a vibrant ecosystem. So by joining Arbitrum, iExec is bringing privacy where the builders are. So thousands of devs, millions of users as well, billions of TVL, but yeah, amazing ecosystem. So it's not just a technical integration where we are bringing our protocols and tools and native token, but it's also about embedding privacy, accelerating adoption, and bringing data ownership and privacy closer to where the people, user, and the application are to become standard across the mission of builders in the application.
Yeah, they certainly are on Arbitrum. Chase, from your perspective, what are the unique strengths you see in iExec that can be brought to your builders, and how do you see more in general privacy as part of the vision for the network?
Yeah, as we the past 9 months, I would say almost 12, have been really transformative for the space and the embrace that we've seen from particularly like enterprises and large financial institutions. And there's really been two blockers for those players over the years. And the first has been, regulatory and compliance concerns. And the second has been concerns around privacy. An enterprise would never transact on a public blockchain or never execute a vendor contract on a public blockchain because I don't, if I'm Meta, I don't want anybody to know how much I pay NVIDIA for chips, for example. Tools like iExec bring us a step closer to that like future state where enterprises feel comfortable transacting on chain. GE can buy turbines or sell turbines for billions of dollars in USDC or USDT and not have to worry about one of their competitors finding out what their contract looks like with that supplier.
Yeah, I don't think they would want for that to be seen for sure. So we can actually go maybe into concrete examples of, because we actually, Nathan, you were mentioning some builders that actually started integrating. So maybe can you give us like a few examples of builders that actually have leveraged iExec on Arbitrum today?
Yeah, so it's already starting because iExec already has an ecosystem of builders since many time, and now we're bringing these builders to Arbitrum. So basically, by doing that, they can ship privacy first application using our native token LLC in a few lines of code. So we have different tools, which is of course, basically preserving tools. One of these tools is AEP generator, which help builders to ship privacy application into few lines of code using TEs, so mix of on-chain data confidentiality and also trusted off-chain computing. And for also another tool around confidential messaging, so helping user to protect their data of, for example, Telegram handle or email address, and then after receive private notification based on their activity on chain, and they, of course, don't want to be linked between the wallet address and their contact information. So we'll soon also announce what are the projects that are already live using iExec technology on Arbitrum. And one of these, for example, is Automato, which is providing AI automation with private notification using iExec. So you can basically track everything you have on chain, yield, and also different investment opportunities, and receive private notification using iExec for that. So it's one of the few usage that you could have with iExec. Sometimes it could go much more far from that. And we have our own ecosystem form to also accelerate the adoption of privacy first application.
All right. Chase, from your perspective, where do you see, I guess, the myriad of builders you guys have, where do you see maybe the strongest demand for privacy in your builder community? I don't know if it's like it would be a sector in particular or a type of builders. Would you have a guess as to what type of builders would be more interested in this type of technology?
I think it ties back to my last response. It's a lot of enterprises and institutions that like don't have a desire but almost a requirement for built-in privacy. We do have some other applications on Arbitrum. There are some dexes on Arbitrum that require or that enable private swapping, like Renegade is an on-chain dark pool, for example. Very excited about them. And yeah, I think there will always be like independent users that value their privacy very highly and will want to use tools like iExec.
Right. You don't necessarily see like any specific vertical that would be more interested in another, just in general, more the enterprise type, right?
Right.
Okay. All right. Then maybe we can, I was thinking about kind of going into more of the impact on the ecosystems. So Nathan, how do you see this unlocking new capabilities for Arbitrum builders, and how does that also kind of accelerate the adoption for iExec?
As Chase mentioned, the privacy only matter if the data has value also, and the user wants to keep their anonymity or confidentiality for on-chain activities. So this is where iExec comes in, basically by launching on Arbitrum. Builders of different verticals, for example, AI, DeFi, whatever you want, can now use also the privacy at scale. So this removes friction for builders. So they can add trusted off-chain function to their application in a few lines of code, for example. They can run encrypted process directly on Arbitrum as well. One of the very cool use cases also, they can control sensitive data without managing the infra. So basically control who has access to this data, for what price, for how many time, and now also monetize the access of the data. So in terms of ecosystem impact, this is pretty huge in where also where the value is coming in into the application. So this means, for example, for Arbitrum devs, they can move faster and experiment more by bringing privacy into DeFi application, AI, but also in any vertical. Yeah. So it's like adding new possibilities to existing model. Also open up a new monetization system as well, based on what every user has, which is basically data. And for user, it means safer interaction also with application that protect your data and wants to keep it private.
All right. Thanks, Nathan. So Chase, I'm sure we're not the only protocol coming onto Arbitrum providing developer tools, but I was actually interested in understanding from your perspective, how do you guys see these tools that are being provided to developers and to builders in general? How does that match your pipeline and growth? Do you see that? Is that something you leverage? Is that something you monitor in terms of bringing new capabilities for builders? How does that kind of work on your growth path, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, if Arbitrum is the home for DeFi or gaming or RWA developers, we want it to be the Biltmore estate. You know, we want to have all of the bells and whistles. We want to have the best tools available. So, you know, a lot of the largest infrastructure players, the tier one names that we all know are supporting the network. And we really take pride in, you know, making life as easy as possible for our developers and offering them, you know, all the best tools that that they could possibly receive.
All right. I kind of wanted to finish this on asking you guys kind of a bold prediction as to what type of thing we could imagine, like in 2 years' time, what would be like the most interesting thing a builder could build on iExec/Arbitrum that definitely isn't possible today, or at least unseen of today. I don't know if that gets you guys inspired. I don't know, Nathan. Would you have a guess?
Yeah, I think Chase mentioned something that we're currently also working on. It's around confidential DeFi. Absolutely interesting in terms of use cases and new possibilities. So my bold take, will be in 2 years, builders could launch a confidential DeFi application, but also, for example, run AI agent that directly compute the private data on Arbitrum without ever exposing the data. So one of the use cases, for example, that I love with iExec for that is, as a user, you can encrypt your trading behavior or strategy of assets that you want to trade on chain. But of course, you don't want that this trading strategy and basically the data set will be public. So by encrypting that with iExec, and after have your confidential DeFi use cases that runs directly by mixing that with an AI agent, without ever exposing the sensitive data, financial and personal, really keep it fully confidential. That is could be one of the use case that will probably unlock also what people are really looking for in terms of long-term usage and long-term value provided to this ecosystem.
I am longing for the day when people won't see privacy as like this standalone island away from other verticals. And for sure, I believe very much that confidential DeFi is a big step in the future of DeFi. Chase, do you have would you have a guess as to what you would want to see in the future?
Yeah, there's a lot of things. I want to be able to go to a bank. I want to be able to go down to Wall Street, or I want to be able to go to Silicon Valley and pitch Meta or pitch DoorDash or Uber on this ability that, you know, the suite of tools that's available on Arbitrum, that if you want to keep your transactions public, yeah, by all means, just use Arbitrum right out of the box. If not, use iExec, use some privacy solution that's going to help you, you know, shield your sensitive information, but also, you know, you'll be able to protect you know, some of the consumer data that you're also trying to like keep and store, because it's pivotal to your business.
Nice. All right, guys, I think that's all for us right now. Thank you so much for your time and for your candid answers, both of you. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Benjamin. Thank you, Chase.
Yes. By the way, we do have other lives, especially at Live Spaces, especially with our builders, planned over the next few weeks. I believe we have our very own Tom David, who will be participating in the Arbitrum Founder Space later on this week, on Thursday. And we also have a lives planned next week with Automado. I think you mentioned, Nathan, Automado. A live with our DevRel Martin, and they'll be launching a campaign that actually has some good surprises for everyone. It's open for everyone. You don't need any specific tech skills to follow that one. So I encourage you to subscribe to that live space that will happen next Monday at noon CET. All right. Thanks, Chase. Thanks, Nathan.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone, for following. Have a good one.